Alright, 2008 and newer CBR1000RR. We're getting to the spark plugs here. So what I have taken off so far, and I have a video demonstrating what we did to get to this step. So we have the seat off, we pulled the tank cover off, the gas tank, the airbox lid, we took the ECM, which is mounted to the airbox lid, off, and then I have the filter out, and I'm about to remove this cover here, the top half of the airbox. So I'll put a link in the description to the first video of how we got to here. But picking right up, we just took out all these little screws. There's 8 of them around here holding the top half of this on. And I think that'll work, just to lay that back like that. It'll be out of the way. Now we can continue getting our airbox out. They're all Phillips head in here that kind of hold these velocity stacks, so we'll remove those. And then these intake boots here, that's just rubber. You can kind of see it kind of just clicks into place there, so I would assume that we're gonna have to slip those out as well, but I'll take these screws out and we'll see how loose it is. We'll give those a good cleaning too. Oh, and I can easily see that this airbox then is going to be loose, so I think just these little rubber ram air intakes, we can slip those out first. I'm gonna wad up some rags. I'm gonna put them in those intakes there just to make sure that no dust or dirt, anything like that, gets in there. Now let me see if I can just slip those boots right out, and it looks like we got that one. Alright, so the boots are out, the front is loose there, but then we just have some connectors and lines down here that we need to press and unhook. If I can get it. Alright, that one's unhooked, and there's one little rubber line under here I gotta pull off. Alright, so we got the lower part of our air filter housing out. So, and then those little rubber boots, you can kind of just pull those out of there. Give them a good pull. Move both of those out of the way. And then you're going to have a few different tubes here, you know, that have hooked to various places on the bottom of this. It's actually 3 rubber tubes. You know, that one connector that was on the corner there we took out. So now we're good to go there. Alright, so it looks like you need to remove your side fairings. Well, and to get the side fairings off, you need to remove the bottom fairing, and you need to remove all your little plastic little pieces and stuff on the front there, because there's some tabs and screws and things that are held onto the side fairings. So once those are all off, you know, your ram air vents, everything comes out with those side fairings. Well, let me show you that really quick. Voila, everything's in there. You've got one electrical connection and one hose rubber tube that you unhook on either of those. So then once you're in here, your little rubber cover that we had on there, all it is just some adhesive on the sides of here on either side that hold that on. You'll never be able to pull it off without getting the side fairings off, so you can pull straight out on them. I was not able to just pull that through. As soon as I saw it was adhesive, I thought I could get this one off without having the side fairing off. That was incorrect. So once you have your rubber screen back, you know, and I unhooked these 2 tubes that were going to our airbox, and those can just stay in place. And I just kind of slipped our rubber little shield back, and then you have access to all of your coil packs. You know, you'll have a wire, a connector on each of those, so you just press the tab, you unhook that, and then you can kind of pry those coil packs straight up. The spark plugs are underneath. It wasn't any special tools. You know, it's always a clever combination of extensions, you know, because you have a tight space here. So sometimes you need to have your socket with an extension, and then once you slip that in, then you can put another extension on it as you lower it down in. But yeah, so the spark plugs is kind of a nightmare on this. It's fairly intuitive though. You kind of see and find out your next steps that you have to do. But I just put in our brand new plugs. But yeah, so now I can go about putting everything back together, the fun part.